Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at a pair of action figures, Knight and Squire from Batman Incorporated. This is basically the Batman and Robin of England. Knight is a figure made by DC Direct many years ago in their Batman Incorporated line, and then Squire here is a custom. Big shout out to my boy, Pop Culture Art. He made this custom for me. I've had it for a couple months, but I've been wanting to do a video on these guys for quite some time. Ever since DC Direct made their Knight figure many years ago, I've wanted a Squire to go alongside him. They were always together, just like Batman and Robin, and that's pretty much exactly what they are. With my last batch of customs from Pop Culture Art, Squire was one that I asked him to make. So, finally have the dynamic duo here of England. In this video, we'll take a look at each of the figures. We'll talk about them, their characters, their origins, etc. And we'll show them with the rest of my Batman Incorporated figures. Here's an image of Knight from the comics, Batman Incorporated. Here's an image of Squire from the comics. Custom is spot on. And here's an image of Knight and Squire together. They even had their own little mini-series. In the modern versions of Batman Incorporated, I believe the original Knight has died. The new Knight is a female, and it's the original Squire has taken up his old mantle, thus becoming the third Knight. So this is Knight. He's a DC Direct figure from the Batman Incorporated line. In Batman Incorporated, Batman set up different Batmans around the world in all the major countries. This is the Batman of England. He's in an old Knight suit. Sort of looks a mix between Batman and an old medieval knight, hence the name Knight. His real name is Cyril Sheldrake. He was originally Squire to Percy Sheldrake. I believe that's his father. That was the original Knight. Long time ago, they were dressed up, old school Knight and Squire. They were supposed to be just like Batman and Robin. His father was killed by his archenemy. Eventually, Cyril fell into depression, drugs, alcohol, depleted his fortune, and eventually he met Beryl. Beryl helped him recover, and he ended up becoming Knight, and Beryl became his Squire. They were set up as Batman and Robin in England. I always thought he was kind of a cool design. Old school medieval knight, but he's got sort of bat ears on there. He's armored up. Articulation is a little bit limited. You can see single jointed elbow, single jointed knee. Still, he definitely has some charm to him. I wish they made more than one wave from Batman Incorporated. There are a ton of Batman figures from around the world I would have loved to have seen. Cape looks decent. The figure's not spectacular, but he does everything he's supposed to do. Knight has this logo on his utility belt. It's two hammers crossed over each other. That's sort of Knight Squire's logo. Their bat symbol. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I'd like to get an old Knight with bat ears. Best of both worlds. And now, we have the custom version of Squire. This is pretty much the sidekick to Knight in England. Her real name is Beryl Hutchinson. She stumbled upon Cyril Sheldrake, the son of the former Knight. He was into alcohol and drugs. Beryl opted to help mend the broken hero, and eventually he overcame his addictions. He decided to take on the mantle of Knight, and she became Squire, who he used to be. The two of them, they're a team, partners, the dynamic duo of England. She's in a sort of old school looking outfit. She's got red hat, feather sticking out of it. She has that logo there with the two sort of hammers across from each other. Going further down, looks like she has red and black striped tights, sort of elf shoes like Robin. Hair coming down a ponytail in the back. Overall, pretty pleased with how this custom turned out, that's for sure. And just like Knight, she's got that same logo. Something they definitely have in common identifies them as the Batman and Robin of England, Knight and Squire. And just a closer look at her face and head sculpt. Got a little ding on the paint on her head. Pretty sure that happened after I got her. Very pleased though. She looks excellent alongside her partner, Knight. Now both these figures are DC Direct size. I was very specific that I wanted them to scale up properly next to each other. Knight here is just under 7 inches, and Squire here is just under 6.5 inches. She should be smaller. She's a smaller character, younger, just like Robin typically is to Batman. Now to show off the articulation. So this is an actual release figure of a DC Direct. Head can rotate from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, less than 90 degrees. Real tight going up and down. Bicep cut. Single jointed elbow. Barely goes in. Wrist can rotate. Traditional waist swivel. T-crotch style hips. They do not go up very far. Single jointed knee. Really doesn't go back much either. Boot cut. That's it for him. And now for Squire. Of course, when you get a custom figure, you really don't want to move around too much. Her head moves absolutely no problem. Nice bit of personality there. Shoulders go out, but I'm not going to push it. Really not trying to move her arms that much. Definitely looks like paint will be affected. But a lot of articulation in legs, absolutely no problem there. Knees, ankles. Going to rotate around the waist a little bit. So she's got some movement. A little bit weary on the arms here. Could probably free him up, but not sure if it's worth the risk. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures. We'll check them out with a couple of other custom figures, and then some other Batman Incorporated figures. Here's Knight with the rest of the DC Direct wave from Batman Incorporated. Batman, Knight, the Man of Bats, and Damian Wayne Robin. I really wish they made a Series 2 of this. I love the fact that Knight and the Man of Bats are completely brand new Batman-related allies. Brand new characters that never had figures before. And there are so many other members that would have been cool to have figures of. This guy, Pop Culture Art, has been making customs for me for quite a while. A couple of years ago, I suggested he use the Knight body to make me Prometheus. And that's just what he did. This custom came out fantastic. Always wanted to have a Prometheus villain custom, and that's exactly what I have now. Another character to check off my list for my Batman world. Here's Knight, next to a custom version of the Heretic. I believe that's who killed him in the comics. And in my most recent batch of customs from Pop Culture Art, here are the 4 figures I asked for. Slipknot from Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller, also more or less based off her look from Suicide Squad, and then Squire. And then Ratcatcher 2 from The Suicide Squad. Ratcatcher 2 even has an interchangeable head with mask on and mask off. Out of these 4, I was most excited for Ratcatcher 2. About equally excited for the other 3, while I'm really happy to have this Squire to go with my Knight. It's been just a big gap in my collection for many years. A long time ago, I got this lot of custom figures off a guy online. This is a Batman Incorporated display. We have El Guacho on the left, then Tim Drake as Red Robin, and then the next one is supposed to be the Batman of China, also known as Batman. It's a similar suit, very tech savvy, even made a robotic Robin. The 4th one there is Cassandra Cain. This is when she was the Black Bat, between Batgirl and Orphan, and the last one is the Hood. He's a really cool character from Batman Incorporated. He was first introduced in Night Quest, and they brought him back years later for Batman Incorporated as part of Batman's network. Take these figures, add in the official releases, and some other characters you can substitute in, and I'll show you my entire Batman Incorporated display. I took these older DC Direct Armory figures, Nightwing and Flamebird. Now they're not part of Batman Incorporated, but I fudged them into that display. I thought they worked pretty nice as some different Batman agents around the world. They definitely have the Batman theme and a unique costume. I took this Batmanuel figure from the live Tick TV show. It was a hilarious character on the show, sort of an homage to Batman in some ways. I thought he might be a good Batman from Mexico or something like that, part of the Batman Incorporated display. And here are a couple of Marvel Legends Black Panther figures. We have an older comic Black Panther, as well as the movie version. I also thought they made some nice Batman agents from around the world. Black Panther always had that sort of Batman look to him. Definitely a Batman vibe. I kind of like using the movie Black Panther as the original Batwing. I believe he was Batman of Africa before Luke Fox took over. I really wanted to add Batwoman and Batwing to my Batman Incorporated display. Mattel made the only figures of these characters. Well, maybe not the only ones, but the best ones. Now, you could really add pretty much any Batman ally to the Batman Incorporated display. Batgirl, Tim Drake, Robin, Spoiler, Huntress, Katana. It goes on and on and on. I didn't want to add every single one, but some of the ones that were definitely tied to Batman Incorporated in the old days, or in the new version. I also wanted to add Damian Wayne Robin in his new costume at Ghostmaker. They're part of the revival of Batman Incorporated. This Future State Batman would probably be a nice member. He looks like Batman, but different design. Now in my head, I just know this is Bruce Wayne too much, so I'm not going to add him to my display. But I think he would be a nice addition, if you can get past that. So here's my entire Batman Incorporated display. I actually like it a lot. Very diverse, very colorful. We have a lot of official Batman-related characters. We have a bunch of Batman custom characters, and a bunch of substitutes that look like they could be part of Batman's Incorporated network from around the world. Here are all the different mini customs I've gotten from Pop Culture Art. All Batman-related characters, almost all obscure. Probably the item that I had it make for me that I'm the most pleased with is this GCPD SWAT van. Most of the customs that I asked for, I already have a good idea of what base I want. A lot of time I already have the base, or I'll buy it and send it to them. These are made from some Mattel Wrestling Slambulance vehicles. I got the ambulance, and I just thought it would be a great SWAT van, and it sure is. As you can see, GCPD SWAT, it actually holds 6 and 7-inch scale figures. It's got sirens. The backside, you can actually open this thing up. It functions. You can open it through the top as well. It's a really cool vehicle, playset, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely fantastic for my Gotham City world. Another vehicle he made for me, which I'm really pleased with, are these camo tumblers from The Dark Knight Rises. Unfortunately, they're made with 5-inch scale tumblers, as that's the best one out there. Only 6-inch scale tumblers from Soap Studios. That thing is way too expensive, and frankly is pretty much the exact same size as these guys. Maybe a little too small to hold a figure, but it's great for some background pieces. In the Dark Knight universe, the tumblers were originally camo colored. When Bruce Wayne got his from Applied Sciences, I believe he drove a camo colored one and then asked for one in black. In The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane took over, he got some of these tumblers. He had 3 of them, if not more, and they were all camo colored. Fantastic way to recreate the final scene where the cops charge Bane's mercenaries in The Dark Knight Rises. Here's Knight and Squire on a rooftop, overlooking England, ready to defend its citizens from crime. So overall, very pleased to have the Squire custom. Happy to add the sidekick, crime-fighting partners, Knight and Squire. Additional members, my Batman Incorporated network. Batman Incorporated display is getting quite nice. It's sort of a hodgepodge between the new version and the old version. Just want to show you guys a recent custom figure that I obtained. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.